Okay, this is my interview for my kids, my grandkids, and my great grandkids, and whoever comes after that. What were you like as a child? I was very independent. My family said that I was an airhead because I kind of was in my own little world. I used to read a lot. I can remember this one story where I was reading a book and they were asking where we wanted to go for vacation that year, and I went back to my fictional novel and found a town that was in the novel that I wanted to go to, and they all started laughing because they were like, "That's pretend." But I was explaining to them that most of those towns were actually real towns that they were using in the fictional books, and so I understood that that was very much a town, but they were all laughing at me. Anyway, that was kind of how I was. Do you have memories of what your parents said you were like as a baby? Um, no, I didn't like to take naps. That was the only thing she said. I was not a big sleeper. I didn't need a lot of sleep when I was a baby. What was the a typical day like in your family when you were little? There was five kids, so it was a lot of playtime. We played outside all the time. We had cleaning days. I can remember my mom doing like the human vacuum cleaner where we would get our hands and like go in and get everything up off the floor. I don't have a lot of memories of when we were little. I remember doing trips in the motorhome for Amway, and we would go and spend lots and lots of time with the other kids that were in Amway while our parents were at these meetings until 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. So we were kind of on our own a lot more than what you are on your own. Like we didn't have cell phones back then. Parents just trusted that you'd go out and play and you'd come back. They didn't worry about you, as far as I know. But yeah, we were gone for the whole day, and they just trusted we'd come back for dinner. How does your family tend to show their love for one another through physical affection, including hugs and kisses, gift giving, reaffirming through saying "I love you" or some other phrase, etc.? We're very big on hugs and kisses. My dad sings to everybody for their birthday. That's how they do that. We don't send a lot of letters or written communication, and not a lot of gift giving either. So, what would you say makes your family unique from other families? We have always been extremely conservative. We are not secular kinds of people. We've never missed a day going to church on Sundays. And growing up, our friends and everybody were in church. That was kind of our church family, and we kind of adopted a little mini society within that church family. So we weren't really exposed to a lot of the stuff that I'm kind of exposed to now, which I'm kind of sad. I don't. I don't like outside my religious circle. It's very scary out there. Um, so yeah. What did you do when you were bored as a child? I would read. I would go play and swing on vines and swing into the river and go to other neighbors' houses and play with them. So yeah. If you had to create a family motto, what would it be? Hmm. Family motto. We don't really have a family motto. Um, yeah, we don't have a family motto. How did you feel about school and what type of student were you? I was bored with school. School, I could learn everything that they were teaching me that year in a matter of about a month. So when I would get my books, I would go through the book and kind of finish it within a couple of weeks. And I felt it was kind of stupid to try and do the work when I'd already done it and learned it. It kind of seemed redundant. As long as I knew it, I was not really necessarily trying to get the good grades. I just wanted to learn it. So it wasn't, um, maybe it's because I was a woman. I wasn't planning on using any of it anywhere. So, although I did want to be a doctor. So, but I just needed to learn it. That was how I kind of felt. Did you have a best friend? And if so, how did that relationship play out over the course of your life? I didn't have a best friend. I knew lots of people. I was Um, what do you want to say? Uh, I was kind of like part of a particular group of students, but I really didn't have a best friend. During different times, there was Polly Butler, which I was kind of best friends with her for a little while. Um, so at different times, I had friends that I was more close to, but we didn't really kind of stay close. Um, when you were little, what did you answer to the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? A neonatologist. I never had any other plan other than if I was going to be something as far as like other than a wife and mom, it was going to be a doctor to premature babies and sick babies. Um, what were you like as a teenager? I was the good girl. I was the one that always tried to make sure everybody got home safe. I was the one that was always telling people, don't do that, you're doing something wrong. I was probably not a lot of fun to be around because I um, didn't really participate in anything that was going on that was wrong. And when I just wanted to make sure everybody got home safe. So I wasn't really shaking my finger at my friends, although I did so a lot towards my siblings. I was actually really they hated me because I was always like, you're not allowed to do that. You can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. You're not my mommy. Um, but yeah, I was kind of a really good kid. What meals would be in your family's cookbook? The foods that make you feel nostalgic for your childhood or for your home? Probably pretty and chicken. That was probably my favorite dish that my mom made. We did a lot of diet foods, which I was not a big fan of. For a while, we went through kind of a health craze period where my mom was no salt, no sugar, no nothing that was good. Um, let's see. What are your oldest recipes and where did they come from? Angel food cake. I love that one. What smells transport you to this day right back to your childhood? Um, Mowed grass. Um, the feeling of fall takes me back to my high school days. What smells? Let's see. Who or were the best cooks in the family? Tell me about them. My mom pretty much cooked everything until we were older, and then we really didn't go through a phase where we cooked for the whole family. My mom just kind of kept that job to herself. So, what family dishes would you miss the most if you never tasted them again? I don't really have any like that. If cooking and food were an integral part of your subject's life, explore 20 more food themed questions here. Let's see, deciding where to go to college. I really wanted to go to Bowman Gray or to one of those colleges, but I didn't make grades that were good enough, so I never even applied. I just applied to East Carolina because I knew I could get in. Pursuing your career. I tried. I had a mental health breakdown in high school or in college the summer after. I went to work for um, Camp Easter Seals, and I was staying up all night taking care of sick children and adults that were campers. And I had a severe mental breakdown where I actually stopped using the right side of my body for a while. So that kind of put us when I was kind of failing out of school. I took like way too many courses that were really hard. I took physics, chemistry. I took like all of the hardest courses my first semester, and that didn't go so well. If I could do it over again, I would have somebody. You really need before you go to college. You really need to have a person that's helping you instead of just trying to use your own judgment as to what to do. Um, Pursuing your career. I didn't really want a career like necessarily. I really wanted to just be a mom. I wanted to be around babies and children. Getting married, that was so scary. Yeah, I was very scared. I slept on the couch for the first couple of weeks after I got married. I got married. I didn't know him very well. Jeff and I have been married like for a long time now, but When we first got married, I was not very familiar with what to do and how to do it. Um, Becoming a mom. So I was pregnant with Jordan for 24 weeks, and she died in utero. And so becoming a mom, I was so upset about her death and so upset about not becoming a mom after going through so much to become a mom. And so that was really tough. That was really tough. And we got pregnant right after that, against medical advice, and got pregnant with Andrew, and never been happier. I loved being pregnant. That was amazing. Um, Falling in love for the first time. The first time I fell in love was with Greg Russell, and it was in college, and he proposed to me with a bubblegum machine ring, and I said yes. And yeah, I was very smitten. Um, Tell me about your first job. That was at Camp Easter Seals, and that was horrendous. That was really hard. How did you feel on your wedding day? What memories of the day stand out for you? That I remember that day like it was yesterday. I had strawberry jam for breakfast. My grandmother helped me get ready. Um, we took some pictures out on her little porch, front porch. We went to the sanctuary, which was up on top of the mountain, and I was pregnant with Jordan. Not very much pregnant. I was still very sick to my stomach, and yeah, I was in La La Land though. I loved the day. The day was great. Um, what can you tell me about the first time you experienced loss? Who died? Did you go to the funeral? How old were you? How did it affect your outlook on life? It was Nelia, and she was killed. She had gone to help her husband on the highway change a tire, and a semi ran into the back of the truck, and she was underneath the car, and it killed her. And she was my mom's best friend, and her children were my best friends. And we actually, like, her husband kind of went back to his American Indian roots, and we didn't get to play with her kids anymore. So it took away my best friends as well. And um, she always made my birthday cakes, and I did go to the funeral. I was at my grandfather's house when she died, and when they called and said that she had died, I just couldn't believe it. I was in shock. Um, yeah, it was a really sad time. What is the best decision you ever made? Marrying my husband, um, marrying Jeff. That was, I didn't know him very well, and he proposed to me kind of out of the blue, like right after we started dating. He kind of trapped me in a closet and asked me while I was in his walk-in closet. He kind of trapped me there and came into the door and opened up the box and said, "Will you marry me?" I didn't know him very well. I was scared to say no because I didn't even know who he was yet. And I said yes. I was like, okay, well, you can always say no once you get out of the closet. And but I had no reason to say no either. And so yeah, we learned. He's like, there for a little while. I was like, I don't love you. I don't even know you. And he's like, you'll learn to love me. And I was like, eh. And I did. I did learn to love him. What is a memorable time you have failed, and how did you recover from that experience? Wow, that would be that first summer at the Camp Easter Seals and failing in school. And it took me a long time to recover. I didn't do it well. It took me years to recover. Um, it was a big failure and a big long course of getting past that. Um, what lessons do you most recall learning from your parents and grandparents? Probably the morals and ethics of life. nobody else was teaching that back then. Not even our church really was teaching that back then. We went to church, but my church really wasn't responsible for teaching me morals and ethics. In fact, they were kind of, I learned how to short sheet a bed and do salt on mission trips. So they really weren't that helpful in developing my morals and ethics in life. My parents were extremely important in those lessons, and extremely they played a huge role in making sure that whatever we were learning, that we knew the morals and ethics of using that, which I don't think that they do a very good job of teaching that other places. um, my grandparents were the same way. um, but my grandparents, we just had a lot of fun with my grandparents. My grandparents were the time out that we got to play, outside of spending time with our parents. Did you have a favorite teacher in grade school or another role model who had a major impact on your life? Mrs. Angel, and I believe it was fourth grade, and she was such a creative teacher. She did so many wonderful things, and we learned so many different things in her class besides just things that you learn in books. Um, yeah, we did a lot of great stuff in her class. She was amazing. Can you share about any hardships in history, such as the Depression or a war, or in their personal life, such as a divorce or unemployment, that you experienced in your life, and how you survived, thrived, or coped? Well, we're going through so much right now. Um, Girls are being taught that they need to be like boys, and boys are being taught that they should be like girls, and nobody even knows what a woman and a man is anymore. Um, the roles of a man and a woman have gotten really messed up. Nobody's doing the woman's job anymore, and both are doing the man's job of holding a job outside the home. Um, Nobody's parenting anymore. Nobody's maintaining the home anymore, except on a very slight schedule after work for women. Um, there are people um, that are shooting up schools, going school shooters that are going in and killing mass amounts of people, and not just at schools but in other places. We're in kind of a crisis mode right now. Morally and ethically, they've gotten devoid. Nobody's teaching it, not even at home anymore, because the moms are no longer in the home. Um, Nobody's doing the job. They just kind of abandoned the job of a wife and mother. Yeah, it's really scary right now. It's really scary right now. Um, yeah, it's it. The, we're still in the midst of the hardship. We haven't actually overcome it. So, um, yeah, it's really scary. Um, let's see. Tell me about a significant time you said no. Um, I don't know. Do you have any regrets? Encourage elaboration. You're sometimes prolonged silence the best invitation to speak. So, do you have any regrets? Um, I think you'll always have regrets about what you didn't do, but when I look at what I did do instead of doing what I was gonna do, I love what I chose. I love because it's was made more for me and how I'm designed and how I feel and how I my entity, I guess. What holiday did you most look forward to while you were growing up? Um, I was not a big holiday person. I kind of felt like I was always on holiday because we were always playing outside, we were always doing stuff. Holidays didn't necessarily bring us back together. Although Christmas, I loved spending Christmas with my grandparents and going to my grandparents for Christmas. And we always had kind of a graduated Christmas where we celebrated Christmas multiple times. First with our immediate family, then with each of the different grandparents at their houses. So I loved Christmas because we spent so much time with all the different families and the different cousins, and we just had a lot of fun getting together as a group. Um, what were some of the traditions your family observed related to that holiday? Um, like I said, doing the graduated, like celebrating Christmas multiple times with the family and all getting together. We don't all get together anymore, which is kind of sad. Um, do you have any family traditions that have been passed down for generations in your family? Unfortunately, no. We didn't do a very good job passing on generational and the continuity of generational traditions. We didn't do a very good job of that. Does religion hold a strong place in your family? Yes, a very strong place. Um, and actually, that's gotten stronger because the siblings have been extremely religious oriented as well. What is the most memorable gift you have ever received or given? Oh, the most memorable gift ever received was when my sister was doing a. I was really sad. I was very depressed because I um, broke up with a boyfriend in school, in high school, and my sister did a secret admirer gift thing where she was hiding things in the mailbox and underneath my swing and stuff like that. And that was probably the most memorable. It was the only time that she really reached out and did something special for me that was um, that showed her love for me, and that was huge. Are there any specific family heirlooms you inherited, and why do they hold meaning for you? We have several different pictures and um, vases and stuff like that were my mom's that we've kept. How are or were birthdays celebrated throughout your life? Birthday cake. We had a birthday cake and a little party. Um, in what ways have you or your family kept your culture alive through language, foods, cultural traditions, for example? Um, the southern ways, there's a lot of southern recipes and a lot of um, southern traditions, such as taking meals to people that were sick, um, community type things that we've done, going to funerals, going to weddings, um, family reunions where everybody gets together, and they still do that on it. Um, Although I haven't been part of that lately, which I need to get better about actually making those reunions. But yeah, so we need to keep that alive. That's kind of dying out with the last generation, where our generation's not been going. So we really need to get better at that. That's kind of scary that we're not. Um, let's see. What songs have held special meaning to you over the years? Not very many. I'm not a song person. Who was the trickster in your family? I really didn't have one. Do you have any funny stories from your past? Yes, my dad took us to the mall, and I saw that a wig on a mannequin had fallen off of the mannequin, so I grabbed the wig to put it back on the mannequin, and my dad yelled really loud in the store, "What are you doing with that girl's hair?" And like really embarrassed me, and we all started laughing. That was the only time that my dad joked with us. Um, what's your favorite family story to recount around the dinner table?